O'clock. ABC 10 News at 5 starts right now.
San Diego's restaurants adapting to serve smaller crowds on Super Bowl Sunday. The changes they're making to keep these gatherings from turning into super spreader events. And there is a growing debate about who should be next in line to get the COVID-19 vaccine. The changes the state is now considering. Plus,
please help us find my sister.
A tearful plea from the family of that Chula Vista mother who has been missing for almost a month. What police are now saying about their investigation.
ABC 10 News at 5 starts now.
And good evening. I'm Steve Atkinson. I am joined remotely by my co-anchor Lindsay Pena. We're going to be checking in with her shortly. But first, local restaurants with outdoor patios, they are getting ready for Super Bowl Sunday despite county leaders encouraging people to stay home and follow those health guidelines. They are concerned that Super Bowl gatherings could lead to another surge in coronavirus cases. Our ABC 10 News reporter Anthony Pura is joining us from the gas lamp with a look at some of the changes being made to keep fans safe. Anthony.
Steve, we spoke with the people here at Barley Mash. I can tell you that NFL Sundays and particularly the Super Bowl is something they always look forward to. Now you can see that the restaurant has undergone some adjustments here to meet COVID-19 guidelines. Outdoors only, dividers between the booths. And this year the goal is to bring back some of the atmosphere of Super Bowl Sunday while following the rules.
We want everybody to practice social distancing, come in smaller groups, but it'll be interesting. You know, we want to do everything right. We don't want to get anybody sick. We want to have a great time. So we're hoping that we can do that.
So he goes on to say that they're going to put TVs outside, position indoor TVs to face out. They're also going to have speakers with music outside as well. Now, of course, earlier this week, the county raised concerns about Super Bowl Sunday potentially being another super spreader event. They advised people to watch the game from home with their immediate household. Now, the county says they will be increasing enforcement this weekend. We reached out to San Diego police, who told us that they are ready to respond to complaints about businesses not following the rules, although overall they say businesses have done a good job during the pandemic. And as far as residential gatherings, they tell us that they will be relying on noise complaints to find out about those gatherings, in which case they will be ready to respond to those as well. We're reporting live from the Grass Lamp Quarter. Anthony Pura, ABC 10 News.
People's homes are always a big issue. Anthony, thank you. The NFL also has a plan for Super Bowl Sunday. This year's game is being played, of course, in Tampa, Florida at Raymond James Stadium, which has doubled as a COVID testing site. It's going to house 22,000 fans, a lot of them first responders. Mask and social distancing will be mandatory. Safety precautions are also forcing changes to the halftime show. You saw them there, which will be headlined by The Weeknd.
We kind of built the stage within the stadium, and we're also using the field as well, but we wanted to kind of do something that we've never done before.
Going to be interesting. 7,500 free tickets were reserved for vaccinated healthcare workers. They're going to be inside as guests of the NFL. All expenses paid to thank them for their service.
Now to the latest on the coronavirus vaccine rollout. With vaccines still in short supply, there's growing debate about who should get them next. A group of health experts are meeting now to figure that out. As ABC 10 News reporter Adam Rakustin explains, the recommendations would open things up for a very large age range.
For the past 11 months, Lauren Gillihan and her husband have been locked down in their La Mesa home. Like most everyone else, they've been trying to avoid getting sick. Both Lauren and her husband have underlying medical conditions upping their risk.
I have lupus, and my doctor pretty much told me it would be devastating for me.
So when the vaccine rollout began, Lauren was pretty excited until she found out she's not near the top of the list. See, she's 64, and that's not in phase 1A or 1B. With medical conditions that put them at a higher risk, she doesn't understand why it could be months before it's their turn.
I really thought that we would be in the 65 and over tier.
That could change.
And we really want to get this right.
On Wednesday, the state's Community Vaccine Advisory Committee put up this slide, recommending a slight change to the current schedule. This recommendation calls for people between the ages of 16 to 64 with underlying serious medical conditions or disabilities that increase their risk of developing severe COVID-19 to go next. It would only apply to settings such as health systems or other clinics because you would need to prove you're eligible. What would be the qualifications? Who would sign off? How would it work? And what next means? That's a longer conversation happening now with a smaller group.
We'll begin our work at the end of this week and address recommendations and advice.
We have to establish the goal first, and then within that, we have to try to gather as much good evidence as we can regarding risk factors.
Aaron Cariotti is the director of the medical ethics program at the University of California, Irvine. He says you'll probably see guidelines from the state continue to evolve.
I never thought I would wish to be older, but...
Adam Rakusin, ABC 10 News.
Now, the county says that they continue to monitor discussions and remain poised to move ahead when the vaccine supply allows it. Health systems ABC 10 News spoke with say they will follow guidance from the state, but everything really comes down to supply. We'll let you know if the group of health experts make any decisions from this meeting. And as of today, more than 347,000 people in San Diego County have been vaccinated for COVID-19. And more than 64,000 have been fully vaccinated, meaning they've received both of their shots.
1,100 troops will be deployed to help administer COVID-19 vaccines, including some of them coming right here to California. President Joe Biden has called for setting up 100 mass vaccination centers around the country within a month. The troops will form 5 teams, which will then be deployed to those sites. At least one of those teams will arrive in California on February the 16th. They will be placed at one of the 2 federally run centers, either CSU Los Angeles or in Oakland. More sites will open across the country as more doses become available. And nursing students at San Diego State are rising to the challenge of fighting this pandemic. More than 200 of them have been trained and are ready to administer vaccines as well. Our ABC 10 News reporter Jennifer Dela Cruz spoke with one student who says this experience has changed her life.
When the county needed volunteers to administer vaccines, nursing students at San Diego State were eager to help.
It just makes me feel really good. It's really exciting in a way.
Marcella Chappelle is one of more than 200 students who completed training on how to give out shots. She says the nursing program teaches the fundamentals of administering vaccines in their early courses. So for most of them, it was nothing new. They still underwent additional training for COVID-19 using vials of water.
We would practice drawing up the proper amount, making sure there's no air bubbles in them, and then we practice administering them into a mannequin.
You can tell she's getting into the right field. When asked about her impact on the community, she was beaming.
Just how much we've seen, like, everything being changed and the world changing so much. It's just insane that I get to be part of this.
Students can only administer vaccines under supervision, which adds to the logistical challenges the county is already facing. Associate Director of Nursing Michael Gates says some of their students have already started giving out shots. The rest of them are just following the county's lead.
It's a matter of if they have a need on a specific day, we're right there ready to jump in. But they're the ones that are, need to tell us where we need to be.
Vaccines are also on a limited supply, but as the county builds out more infrastructure, they're going to need more hands on deck. Chappelle says she hasn't been called on yet, but she's anxiously awaiting her turn.
When I look back at it as a seasoned nurse, I'm just going to think that, wow, I was part of such a huge event. I was part of something that made a worldwide impact.
Jennifer Dela Cruz, ABC 10 News.
San Diego State says it plans to train an additional 130 students over the next week. So far, about 28 million Americans have received at least one dose of the coronavirus vaccine. The White House is trying to answer vaccine questions on Instagram.
Why should I take the vaccine?
This is the most terrible pandemic of a respiratory disease that we've had in 102 years. So a vaccine not only protects you, it could protect your family and protect the community.
Dr. Anthony Fauci there. We know there are a lot of questions and different experiences with the vaccine rollout. Our ABC 10 News in-depth team is committed to tracking down answers and sharing your stories. So just send us an email to tips@10news.com.
It is full steam ahead for President Biden's ambitious COVID relief package. And as ABC's Andrew Dimbert reports, Democrats in Congress are laying the groundwork to get it passed without any Republican support.
Today, Senate Democrats forging ahead on COVID relief, creating the option of leaving Republicans behind.
We cannot underscore enough how much help the America needs during this awful crisis.
Vice President Kamala Harris breaking a 50-50 tie after a grueling 15-hour session where senators got to vote on amendments to the White House's $1.9 trillion COVID relief plan that could shape what ends up in the final bill. The budget reconciliation bill that passed means Democrats can pass coronavirus relief without any GOP support.
The vice president votes in the affirmative.
President Joe Biden today doubling down on his approach to go big.
The biggest risk is not going too big if we go too small.
The president and Democrats saying new signs of a weakening economy adds to the urgency of getting those $1,400 relief checks out to Americans, though there seems to be some wiggle room on lowering the income level for eligibility.
It's very clear our economy is still in trouble.
Biden holding his first in-person meeting with House Democratic leaders. Speaker Nancy Pelosi saying even though they don't need Republican votes, they are still open to bipartisanship.
I hope that we can work together because we are going to work it through.
Biden, who promised to work with Republicans and try to unify a politically divided Washington, now dismissing the significantly trimmed-down proposal offered by 10 Senate Republicans.
We're going to go smaller, so it's just going to take us a lot longer, like until 2025. That's the Republican answer right now.
GOP leaders, meanwhile, outraged at Democrats for passing the massive bill that could ignore their input.
They're not interested in doing the hard work it takes to build consensus.
The Labor Department says employers added just 49,000 jobs in January compared to cutting 227,000 jobs in December, but still the economy is about 10 million jobs short of its pre-pandemic levels, which the White House says underscores the need to pass another round of COVID relief. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, Washington.
And you can follow any developments surrounding the pandemic by downloading our free mobile app. Just go to the App Store and search 10 News.
The family of a missing Chula Vista mother is pleading for help tonight to find their loved one.
Please bring her home. We need our sister. Her kids, they need their mom.
Maya Millette was last seen by her husband at their Chula Vista home on January 7th. She has now missed her daughter's and her father's birthday, which friends and family say is just not like her. Today, Chula Vista police joined Maya's family, begging the community to come forward with any tips they may have.
Someone knows something. You cannot just disappear without anyone knowing something.
Police say they do not know when they'll be able to give any updates on Maya's case, but they are actively investigating every lead they get.